Hello, Quesnel. Welcome to Q Today. I'm Nate Bello.
And I'm Ron Campbell, and this is our show for December the 4th.
Coming up on today's show, Simpson disagrees with government, Ron.
No kidding.
And Sage Birchwater and Chris Harris fly over the region and land a new book.
Land a new book.
Right.
They flew with the book. And coming up later in the show, we're going to have the second part of our interview with George Young.
Okay, here at Quesnel, we bring you the recent news provided by our partnership with the Quesnel Observer, and also it's combined a bit with our own commentary, and we also bring you our own stories from the field.
Yes.
So moving on to news, Ron.
Thank you very much. The provincial statistics indicate a decline in those seeking social services. However, our local independent MLA, Bob Simpson, disagrees. He looks at it differently. He took a tour of the local service providers, and for that, he said, we already have minimum support across the whole range of social needs. We don't have enough mental health and addiction counseling capacity. There's no transition, and very few affordable housing units. Long waiting list for detox beds, and income assistance and disability benefits are far below the poverty level. Simpson plans to take these anecdotal learnings to the government's pre-election budget. There was a budget committee that was in town here recently.
A few months ago, right.
Did you get a chance to attend?
I did. The Friendship Center made a strong presentation, but they didn't have that much of a turnout for it.
Well, one of my questions was how many people did show up, and I questioned the timing of some of these committees coming into our area. They're either during working hours or times when we're not available to attend these. Because I know myself, I didn't have an opportunity to attend, and I would have had a lot of things to say about budgets.
Right, you definitely would have, Ron. Okay, Flyover offers unique insight into the Cariboo-Chilcotin's most remote corners. Take a look at these happy guys. That's on the left, Sage Birchwater, author, and on the right is photographer Chris Harris. They collaborated on a book which, in Sage's words, couples the unbelievable beauty and diversity holds that you can see only in flying. The 206-page coffee book came about when Harris was approached by veteran pilots of the Cariboo-Chilcotin area. And the Cariboo Ski Touring Club is hosting a slideshow presentation by Harris on Flyover, that's the name of the book, on December 8th at Coraloo School, starting at 7 p.m. Ron, it's good cheer time.
Yes, it is. It's that time of year again when we have to think about giving rather than receiving. Diane Greenwood is at the helm for the Good Cheer again this year, and the depot is once again located at the old Zeller store in the Maple Park Mall. The hours are going to be from 10 to 4, Monday to Saturday, Sunday noon to 4. And those in need can sign up with proper identification and verification of family members. The hampers will go out the December 22nd and the 23rd. If you wish to contact them, their phone number is 250-747-0065. Diane says that without you, the donors and volunteers, they would have nothing. So people, get out there, and it's time for our community to step up and give up. Okay. And Nate, as long as it's not misused.
Exactly.
It's that time of year, and it is for the needy, not the greedy.
Okay, the needy, not the greedy.
Yes.
All right, good. Here's some people who are also stepping forward, Ron. Annie Gallant wrote a story about some QJS students who prepared and served a free Christmas dinner to over 100 guests last week. The Coraloo Jazz Club performed, and also there was a visit from the local choral group After 8. They entertained throughout the evening, and Santa also came and was able to hand out new toys to the children that attended.
After 8 is a great singing group. They've got an excellent sound, and congratulations to all of those. The meal sounds like it was excellent. I'm sorry that I wasn't there, but it certainly, this type of operation keeps Christ in Christmas. It's by giving and not by receiving.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, Ron, you've got a story on the water project.
I do. Last week, I believe you brought a story up on the possibility of water being pumped to the Lataco
yep.
Reserve. And over the past several years, the city has been working with the Lataco Diné First Nation on a plan that would see city provide potable water to the reserve lands. And after receiving a formal request from the nation's new council on October the 15th, the council meeting approved in principle of providing potable water to the banned lands. Nate, I understand that you have a view on this subject and how it's going to affect Quesnel.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ron. Yes, I really do have an opinion on this one. Ever look at a map of Quesnel? Just take a look at it one day and you will see one big gap, and that's that's Red Bluff neighborhood. Red Bluff neighborhood is contiguous with the city population, and it's not like Bushy Lake, it's not like Barlow Creek. There's no space between a sparsely populated area between Red Bluff and the city, and that's why I've always believed that it should be part of the city and we should work together. So there might be some tax questions, but I don't think that there'll be much more in the way of taxes. And if you go down the road, you will see right now, if you're heading down south, left-hand side, big developments, good streets, figure it out. Right side, there's even an area where they don't even have a solid runway. Why? A solid side road. And why is that? Because the regional district is located in Williams Lake, and it doesn't really, it's not as proactive as the city. So let's take a step back and say, let's bring them together. Let's do it slowly. Maybe it won't take any time, but let's move it forward. And by having this water line go through, it will go through the Red Bluff neighborhood, which might be a little bit of an enticement for people that in Red Bluff that don't have good water. Now, that's not saying we're going to have the services right away in when Red Bluff joins the city. It takes time, just like it did with South Hills. It took about 10 years before we started really getting the services going. So, in my opinion, Ron, I could go on and on, but I'll tell you, Red Bluff should be part of the city. It'd bring us to 12, 13,000 people. It would put us that little bit more on the map.
Right. And you know what? I think we should change it from Ron's rumblings to Nate's rumblings.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
You know, I was at City Council for both the presentation asking for the city and also at City Council when they brought out their findings. And they are going to go ahead in principle to put this water line through. But what I found was the ludicrous wait from the time they first applied to the city to now when they're actually getting something done. It's a plan that's going to see user pay, and it's not going to cost the city a minimal amount of money to
it only costs a minimal amount. Yeah,
and they need that.
Right, exactly. That's right. The water's need. Okay. All right. Moving on to sports.
Well, curling for cash. Where is Allison? This is her expertise.
She's taking a little bit of a break. She'll be back, but you're right.
Yeah. Well, there were 3 local finalists in the 3 finals over 3 days in the 33rd annual Cash Bond Spiel.
Got it.
Did you get all those threes?
Yes.
The weekend tournament was clearly branded. Jonathan Gagnon was on hand and gave us the results. The A final, there was a face-off between local Vic LeBlanc, he's also a very good golfer, and Kamloops Mike Smith. Unfortunately, a thrilling great toss in the 8th saw the Smith team win. In the B event, another local team, skipped by Ben Ruther, took on Ron Vanderstar of Smithers. Again, an out-of-town win. Unfortunately, but a good first name. Well, how about the C final? It was the local Blair Hedden versus Bill Lim of Prince George. Blair's team came out on top.
All right, all right.
So in the end, we got something done for the top spot, and congratulations to the good bond spiel.
And we were in all 3 finals. That's great.
That's good.
Congratulations, curling folks. Wonder how much cash they made.
I don't know.
Okay. Jonas was also reported on a fine showing by the Coraloo clan soccer team. Although they ended up 14th out of 16 teams, it was a tough pool, according to McGregor. Whenever you go down south, those guys they play all year long. Okay. Rob was happy with his showing. He's looking for the next year's season with his eyes on a few boys coming out of QJS. He also mentioned how thankful he was for the sponsors that helped in the getting the team down to Burnaby. It really helped to get the team to take their game up to the next level.
Yes, Rob's always been into the sports, and he doesn't like to lose.
Right. Okay. From the field.
Well, Nate, we've had two munchkins around the studio the past few months, and I now see that they're gone.
That's right. They've gone by. Alex and Natalie have gone back to Hawaii. They were visiting us for 2 months, and they really enjoyed it. And John McKenzie, our station manager, and they got along famously. John really helped them out in this. And so on the last day, they had a little bit of a party. John and I were invited there, and we did this little interview. So let's take a look.
Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot. And I'm here with Alex and Natalie. Hi, Alex.
Hey.
Natalie, how are you?
Good.
And you guys have visited Quesnel for a few months, haven't you?
Yeah.
And the reason why we're having this little conversation is because you have been volunteers with us on QToday, haven't you?
Yes.
And Alex, what job did you do at QToday?
I set up the camera, plug in all the cords, and then I would make sure the camera is leveled, and then I recorded when you guys were starting to talk.
Mm-hmm. So you were a camera operator, really. Yes. Under who taught you how to do that?
John.
John McKenzie, the station manager, right? Right? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a really good opportunity, and I'm glad I did it, and maybe when I grow up I can be what you guys are right now.
Great, only we do it for free. Why don't you do it for money?
You know, it doesn't really matter. I like working the camera, being
a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah, volunteering is very important. Yeah. Do you think volunteering is important too, Natalie?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and Natalie, what did you do at the station?
I mostly been watching you guys, and you guys have been doing so good on it.
Oh, thank you very much. But I think you also helped Alex get the water for the announcers.
Yeah, I did help getting the water for the announcers, too.
Yes, and what about John? I guess you got to be friends with our station manager, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I got to be friends with John and another girl.
Allison.
Yeah, and Allison.
Yeah, and your last day you had a little bit of a party there?
Yes, we did.
Okay, what did you have?
We had sloppy joes with some shrimp stuff and a really good little lunch.
Yeah, it was really wonderful, and you invited us to come, and we're here. And so you just came to Quesnel. You are actually from where?
Hawaii.
Hawaii? What town?
Kona, the biggest island on the what?
Yeah. Kona, that's the name of the town or the island?
That's the name of the town. Hawaii. It's the island is Hawaii, but they call it also the Big Island because in Oahu, it's also called Hawaii, so it's kind of confusing. Oh, but okay. It's the biggest island when you look at all the islands. It's like Oahu, Maui, Molokai, and the biggest one you see, it's Hawaii, and it'll say the Big Island too.
Yes, and everybody knows it. It's the 50th state. So are you American or Canadian?
American.
Yes, we're American.
Okay, but you have relatives here who are Canadian, don't you?
Yeah, my dad was born in Colorado, and he moved here when he was about 5, and then he
moved here. You mean Quesnel or BC or?
He moved up to the ranch.
Okay.
It's
south of Quesnel.
Yeah. And then and then when he was about a teen and he was doing jobs, he went there to visit and stuff, and then married with my mom, and then he lives here, and his mom and dad still live here.
And his mom and dad are who?
Kay Honor and Douglas Honor.
Right, and Kay's a longtime resident here, and they moved into town after many, many years on the ranch, right?
Yes.
And have you visited the ranch?
Yes, we have.
What do you do out there?
We ride a quad, and we also ride horses.
Well, it sounds like you've had a good time. Do you ride horses in Hawaii?
Yeah, sometimes there's a rodeo right beneath our house, like 5 minutes. So we just walk down there, and then there's this really nice guy that lets us ride him.
Oh, that's nice. So, okay, before I let you go, what did you enjoy the most about Quesnel? And what are you going to miss the most about Quesnel? And what are you looking forward to when you get to back home?
I'm really looking forward to the sunshine, and being able to go back in the ocean. And
Why didn't you go in the ocean here? It's only down to Vancouver.
yeah, it's just right there, isn't it? Just a few hours away.
Except that it's a little cold. So you're looking forward to the nice warm water. What about you, Natalie?
I want to go back home to see my dogs.
Oh, yeah. Your dogs. Okay. Well, we're going to try to get this on the TV in the next little while, and then it'll be on YouTube, because QToday is on YouTube, and anybody could look it up and watch it at their convenience. And I just want to thank you very much for volunteering for QToday. You were great, and it was a lot of fun to have you guys. So thanks very much. It was great meeting you. Oh, one last word, Natalie? What is it?
And what I also like in Canada is I like the snow. And when we first came here, we were in Vancouver and we went to the PNE.
Oh, the PNE was really good. And you're going to miss the snow too, or are you getting ready to get out of this cold weather?
I'm going to miss the snow too, and I just would like to thank my Wayne Rock and Debbie Rock for taking care of us and letting us ride their horses, and Brent and Brenda Honor for them to help teach us some school when we would go up to their house. And I'd just like to thank everybody who took care of us and letting us go home safely.
Right. Well, you have a great trip, and we'll see you maybe next year, eh?
And yes, you will. And the cousins also been really nice to us, like Austin and Olive and Jared and Tavis and Braden.
Okay, well, they're all great people, and we appreciated you visiting us in the Caribou. Okay,
We've
back
been
to you
talking
guys.
a little bit about the Lions Club shopping spree. Time's running out. Be sure to get your ticket for a chance to win a 5-minute shopping spree at Save on Food. They're $5. Then the draw will be December 8th. The spree will be on the 18th. And also, December sees the Lions Club having special garage sales up at Maple Park Mall on December 8th and 15th. I went up there and saw their Christmas store. So I had a little bit of an interview with Pat up there. So let's take a look.
Okay, Florence, you could hold the mic for Pat. Just hold it, and we'll see how close we get. That's pretty good. Okay, just a minute. Pat, this is the Christmas store, eh?
Yes,
And are you Mrs. Claus?
I'm Mrs. Claus, yes.
Okay.
This is my helper.
Oh yeah, and
One of the elves.
you're one of the elves, Florence the elf.
Yeah, Florence the elf.
And so, you had a lot of people here today, I understand.
I'm very busy today.
Okay, people are really wanting to get their Christmas things. So what are some of the things you have here?
Well, we have mugs, we have dishes, we have ornaments, we have Christmas trees, we have stockings, we have candles, we have tablecloths.
And where did
Name
you?
it, we have it.
And how did you gather all this?
It is donated by the good people of Quesnel, most of it.
And so over the year, little things come in.
Yes, all year long we're collecting.
Okay, so do you have a favorite item? Like, what is your favorite thing in here, Pat? Mrs. Claus?
Everything right at the moment?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Is that your favorite thing?
It's my favorite thing right at the moment.
Okay, let's take a good look at that. Let's get right in there. I could do this with the camera. And how would you describe that?
Mr. Snowman. It's actually, yes, Mr. Snowman getting ready to go out for New Year's Eve.
Oh, for New Year's Eve. Okay, and it is $150?
Or the nearest, the closest price to that. $149.95 would be fine.
Right. So actually, a lot of these things here are great for people that are on a limited budget, isn't that right?
For sure, yes.
Yeah, so that's why Lions does it. And
Yes.
I understand there's a couple of special openings. This
Yes, we have today, of course, and the 8th and the 15th of December will be open again.
okay. Well, the only thing you're missing for next time, Elf Florence and Santa Mom, is a little hat. Okay, next time a little hat. But you got your Lions vest on, and Lions do a tremendous amount of good work for everybody in this community.
Thank you,
So-
Elf Nate.
So thanks to you.
Thank you.
Also, Nate, there's a continuing second part of an interview with George Young that you held. Last time we left George, he was a toddler who was just leaving the Cariboo to live in New Westminster. Nate and George, you're going to take up the story in that royal city.
Right around the Alexandria Bridge, somewhere around there.
Well, let's enjoy George's trip back home, and here you are, Nate, in conversation with George Young.
And then, of course, at nighttime, of course, we had to sleep under, my brothers and I used to sleep, well, I didn't too much, but my brothers and a couple of his friends slept underneath the truck so that if it rained, we were covered over because it had the tarp over the top. And I'd sleep in the cab, eh?
Right.
And sometimes I would try to sleep, I slept outside too, but one night they told me I wanted to sleep outside and they told me I couldn't, and then in the morning I could understand why there's some big bear tracks right there and stuff. And
Yeah.
I might not be hang around for the morning, eh?
Yeah, because you were only 7.
Right.
Could have been picked up and gone.
And then these are
Wow, these
this,
are amazing pictures from the canyon.
This is where we're stopped there. My parents stopped here and they took us down to the Fraser River because my dad used to mine in the canyon to get a grub stake, and they'd make up to 50 cents a day in some of those places, eh?
Really? So they
Yes.
would do that? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got to go back and forth a little bit on time because this picture here is a steam train that came on the track, but like I said, that was, I don't know if that was in my time or not, but
Okay.
it just, I have these pictures, so I kind of edited them in, eh?
Right, good.
And then
good.
we're coming into Spuzman, and we're going into into the cafe and stuff like that, and then of course there was a motel, and in the background here's an old Model T parked in the shed there.
You know, Spuzman is 100 miles exactly from Vancouver.
Oh yeah.
You know why I know that? Because I know a Japanese Canadian whose family had to go to leave the Lower Mainland during that internship, and you had to go at least 100 miles. And so a lot of Japanese Canadians lived in Spuzman.
Oh yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the thing too. You have to understand that I'm only 7 years old, and this whole world is totally different than New Westminster. Like I had, you know, it was just
It's a
like
different world, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And then we're coming through the Fraser Canyon here, and just shows you the narrow part of the road. And for some, you know, like the road is paved, and it's hard to believe, but I guess it was easier to clean it in the wintertime or whatever. Eh?
So they did pave that little part.
And my dad was showing me there on the Fraser River these rocks here, and that he was one of the ones involved in building the rock wall.
Really?
And they would stand in the almost in the water there, and or else when the way that the river was way down, and then they did that. Eh?
So a lot of the road was farther down nearer the river?
Right. Yeah. Right beside
okay.
the river. Yeah.
So then when they built the new highway, that's where they lifted it way far, as far away.
But you can see the amount of work involved in putting all the stonework right along the river, like it's unreal, eh, to hold the bank, eh? And then, of course, the railroad, of course, they had the old insulators and telephone poles up there that they used to carry through. And, of course, if they couldn't talk, they knew that there was a rock slide. And, of course, this picture here shows that this place is sliding all the time, so they built kind of a roof that the rocks slide over, eh? And some of our relations were riding in the train, and they took a picture out the back there. And this is an old steam engine coming through the tunnel. And this was another place where they worked and did all this fancy rock work in here, or like blocks sort of thing. And then the old tunnel, another old tunnel. And this wall here is all done with cement and that, and they used to use like 2x10 boards and stuff, like, and make the forms up like totally different than what they do today.
Engineering.
And of course on the side here it says I don't know what year it is.
31.
1931, or it could be 51. It's hard to say.
No, I think it's 31.
Okay, yeah. And just how the rock formations are on the side of the road, and we're coming up to another tunnel.
Yeah, the way.
And then we come down to the road, and then see where they put more cement on the side of the.
I wonder if that's the same tunnel as one of the 7 that there are now, only fixed up.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, probably the same place they had to do that.
Yeah. And just before we get to the Alexander Bridge there's this creek down there, and I can't remember what it is, but this is the old wooden bridge coming into it. And as we're coming down, there's an old car over the bank there, and somebody wrote on the door there, "Old World," eh?
Old World.
And then just before we come to the Alexander Bridge, now this thing used to carry water along, because there used to be a store and stuff at the end of the old Alexander Bridge there. And this used to bring water along there and stuff, and so this is where we all stopped to have a shower, because the water was still running at that time.
Oh, okay, good.
So now we're coming down to the Alexander Bridge. And of course they had the salmon on the end of the bridge there, and this is the ties that held the bridge up and stuff. And we're crossing the bridge now, and
looks modern. It was modern then.
Oh, was it ever? Yes.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom here, this is an old dugout that they made out of a tree and stuff. And
so you reached the Alexandria Bridge.
That took about 2 days to get.
2 days from Hope to.
Yes.
Or from New Westminster to there.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, back then the trucks didn't even have probably 100 horsepower or something like that. So when the truck seen a hill, well, you had to start gearing down to go up it before you even got to the thing. Like, it's not like you have a 500 horsepower and a half-ton pickup like today, eh?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll leave it there. Next time we're going to pick it up at the Alexander Bridge, and
and we'll continue up through the Fraser Canyon, right to
back to McMinn's house?
Yeah.
McMinnis house?
Yeah.
Right, okay, good. And
the old McGinnis house, right.
The old McGinnis, that's what we'll bring in. Then we'll start your life in the Cariboo again.
Yeah, and that's one thing I didn't realize either. The reason when we came back, we never moved into McGinnis. We had a house across the road is because when it was 40 below, it was 50 below inside there. You couldn't heat the damn thing, eh? And my mom said, I ain't going to live in that place under any conditions again.
No, minus 30's enough.
Yes.
George, thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're not going to we'll be seeing you again after Christmas, and we'll pick it up with our 5th installment at that time.
Right, yes.
Okay.
And thank you very much, Shaw and Nate, for making this all possible, and hopefully we've brought some memories back to...
Yeah, some good memories and really interesting history.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Happy holidays. We'll see you after the holidays.
Good show.
Now it's time to see what's happening in Quesnel with our community calendar. Okay, coming up on the next show, we're going to discuss the legalization of marijuana. We're going to have Ron debating Bert DeVink, and we're also going to have Bert back with his friend Dave to talk about gold.
Interesting thing. They say marijuana is gold in some of the states. Well, that's it for this show. We want to hear from you with your story and your comments on our show, how we're doing, and whatever you think is important, we will think it's important also. So email us at qtoday@qcatv.ca with your story, or ask us to cover a story you know the community would just love to know more about.
Okay, remember.
Q Today is about
Quesnel talking to Quesnel. Bye.
Take care.